everybody. So I'm really excited to be here today to do my latest episode of How Do They Rank? And this is sort of a smaller episode because I only saw 3 new releases this week. You could say I saw 4. I only saw 3 that hadn't been on my ranking before. So we'll talk about all 4. But yeah, so let's go over what my ranking was last week. And we do this series because my ranking is fluid. It changes. I think about movies and I move them around, and there you go. My top 10 from last week was number 1, Step, number 2, Wonder Woman, number 3, The Big Sick, number 4, A Silent Voice, number 5, Personal Shopper, number 6, Get Out, number 7, Dunkirk, number 8, Bahubali 2, The Conclusion, number 9, War for the Planet of the Apes, and number 10, My Entire High School is Sinking into the Sea. Bottom 10 last week was Lady Macbeth at number 10, King Arthur at number 9, Gifted at number 8, The Circle at number 7, Transformers at number 6, Transformers 5 The Last Night at number 6, The Dark Tower at number 5, The Emoji Movie at number 4, Spark, A Space Tale at number 3, Surf's Up 2, Wave Mania at number 2, and The Glass Castle at number 1. So that was my worst last week. And I'm using a new headset, so I'd be really curious if you hear any difference in the sound. If you think it sounds better, please let me know, because I'm trying something new out. So we had 3 movies that I saw. The one that I saw again, but is technically a new release, I saw Step at Sundance, and I saw it again at the Utah Film Center, and I saw it again this week, and I'll probably see it again next week. So Step is my number 1. It still remains my number 1. I just love that movie so much, and so there it is. It stays. So the next movie that I saw this week is called The Girl Without Hands, and this is an animated film, indie animated film, made completely a one-man show, made by the director. His name is Sebastian Ladenbach, and he animated it, he edited it, he wrote it, he directed it, everything. It's really amazing. It uses this sort of watercolor and this sketchy style, and it tells this Grimm's Brothers story, which I thought was moving and powerful. And so there you go. So that was this week that I saw. And then I saw a movie called Moon, The Guardians of the Moon. I actually have a review for that coming for this month's Obscure Animation, so you get to really enjoy that. And this was a movie that actually was a 2014 release, if you can believe it, in Europe, but we're just finally getting it here, and it was only in theaters for 1 day. I went and saw it after my race on Saturday, and I was so exhausted. But I still was entertained by it, and I still enjoyed it. So that says something. It's beautiful animation. Last movie that I saw this week is Detroit. This is Catherine Bigelow's film about the events that happened during the Detroit riots in 1967. And this is definitely a tough film to watch. It's a tough sit, but it felt very clinical to me. It felt like a documentary, so it wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be in that regard. But, especially with what's going on right now in our country. But it was very moving, and I'm definitely glad that I saw it, and it was a very good film. So those are the 3 that I saw this week, 4 if you count Step. So let's talk about where they rank. So the first thing is The Girl Without Hands. And this was an amazing film. I loved it. And so it actually ends up at number 5 on my ranking. And so you have A Silent Voice at number 4, The Girl Without Hands, and Personal Shopper at number 6. And then Detroit, I have at number 10 in my ranking. So it's after Bahubali 2, The Conclusion, and The Good Postman. And then the final one is Moon, The Guardian of the Moon, and that ended up at number 24 in my ranking. So I have it just after Lego Batman and before Born in China. So there you go. And so my new top 10, the biggest change is we have two new members of my top 10. And I did switch things around a little bit with War for the Planet of the Apes. That's one I've just been continually sort of simmering on. And that one I now have at 13th. I still really admire it, but I don't know. I just have no desire to see it again, which for that kind of movie, I feel like that's a problem. So this is my new top 10. Number 1, I have Step. Number 2, Wonder Woman. Number 3, The Big Sick. Number 4, A Silent Voice. Number 5, The Girl Without Hands. Number 6, Personal Shopper. Number 7, Get Out. Number 8, Dunkirk. Number 9, Bahubali 2, The Conclusion. And number 10, Detroit. So that's my new top 10. Bottom 10 is the same as last week. I didn't have any new additions to the bottom 10, thankfully. Macbeth at number 10, King Arthur at number 9, Gifted at number 8, The Circle at number 7, Transformers The Last Night at number 6, The Dark Tower at number 5, Emoji Movie at number 4, Spark, A Space Tale at number 3, Surf's Up 2, Wave Mania at number 2, and The Glass Castle at number 1. So that is my ranking for this week. So we'll see what happens next week. I have a lot of things going on, so I don't know how many new movies I'll get. There's just not a ton of releases that I'm interested in, plus I'll probably see Step at least once. So I don't know how many more I'll have next week, but we'll see. You know, it won't always have a ton. Sometimes we'll just have one maybe in our ranking video, but we will do it, and we'll see how things are going. So that's my current ranking. Let me know what you think of this ranking, what new movies you have seen, and how you would rank these films or rate these films. Put in the comment section, and thanks so much. Please subscribe to my channel. I'll talk to you later. Bye!